inspired by Montgomery Clift, Marlon Brando, James Dean, Eva Marie Saint, Shelley Winters, and others. They were the individual standouts amid the last wave of cookie-cutter studio contract players, the Rock Hudsons, the Tab Hunters, the Joy Lansings, the Jane Mansfields, to name a few. Heston was neither old school nor new method. He brought something different to the screen, a stoic American Cold War fundamentalism he didn't learn in acting schools, or even from looking death in the eye during World War II. All of it was rooted in and flowed directly from the emotional remnants of his early traumatic upbringing. He had his own personal version of the method. Heston was raised in the backwoods of Lower Michigan, where his happiest days were spent hunting, fishing, chopping wood, and swimming with his dad, and happiest nights alone by the fireplace, losing himself in the literary worlds of Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer, Howard Pyle's The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood, and Jack London's The Call of the Wild. It was a time and place of childhood joy that was suddenly taken away from him when his parents divorced and his mother remarried and eventually settled in the urban environs of Chicago. The little boy lost everything: his dog, his beloved woods, his real dad, even his name. For the rest of his life, Heston sought to reclaim that lost world through the creative universe of acting, in characters and films that resonated with him and that would define him as a figure of strength, stature, leadership, and ideals. There was Moses, who was taken as a baby from his parents and for the rest of his life tried to find and reunite with his true heritage. Judah Ben-Hur, who rose from Hebrew slavery and, once freed, searched for his former home and his missing mother and sister. Will Penny, who late in life desired to marry and become a husband to the woman he loved and a father to her boy, before giving up and going his own way. Michelangelo, who was determined to please the father figure Pope by giving up his own creative urges to sculpt and instead painting the Sistine Chapel for him. Captain Garth, who fought in the Pacific during World War II to preserve America's freedom and way of life at the Battle of Midway. Heston's desire to reclaim the perfect world of his childhood also expressed itself politically. As his fame grew, the one-time activist Democrat who in 1960 had supported John F. Kennedy's successful bid to become president and in 1963 marched alongside Martin Luther King Jr. at the Great March on Washington, began to turn away from the liberal left in favor of a more conservative interpretation of the Constitution, especially the Second Amendment. Eventually, he became an enthusiastic supporter of the NRA, a commitment that many in liberal-dominated Hollywood considered outrageous. Most Tinseltown scandals don't last, whether it's who slept with whom, who's getting divorced, whose dress top fell off at which function, etc. ad nauseum. Hollywood loves these bits because they do nothing so much as promote this actor or his or her next film. The one big no-no is politics, unless you're on the so-called right side of the equation. During the industry-wrecking blacklist years of the 50s, not one of Hollywood's conservative stars, the Bing Crosbys, the Bob Hopes, the Gary Coopers, suffered for their patriotic positions. Some, like Ronald Reagan, used that time as a springboard to post-film political careers of varying degrees.